dive into our game of the day. We're looking to some college hoops. All lines, of course, are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. Indiana, who is 12-3, 3-2 in conference play, will visit Iowa, who is 11-4, 1-3 in conference play. Indiana sits at 5th in the Big Ten standings. Iowa coming in at 10th. Right now, Iowa is the 5.5-point favorite with a total at 150.5. By the way, Indiana has not entered a game as an underdog since their matchup with Wisconsin at the beginning of December. Both teams started off the season strong. Indiana won 6 in a row, and Iowa came out of the gate winning 7 straight. Iowa is currently riding a 4-game home winning streak, and will look to keep that alive tonight. Arky, how are you going to be playing this one in Iowa City?
So I'm very excited about this game because this is clearly a Big Ten behemoth battle. And there's a couple of them on the card tonight. This is the one I'm most excited about because you get to see two really elite playmakers on the court tonight. You got Trayce Jackson-Davis for Indiana, who I didn't think was going to be a guy who put his team on the shoulders to win a game last week. And he basically said, middle finger to you, Arky, I got this all by myself. I can do bad all by myself. All right? And I'm like, okay, all right. Much love to you, and congratulations there. Now, they'll go on the road to play a guy, a 6'9" forward who is just great with the ball. He's the number one scorer in the country in Keegan Murray. And I was really pumped to watch this game, too. I see why that there's such a high total on this at 150.5. You would think a bunch of points are going to be scored tonight. And I get why I was the favorite, too. They're a really good team. And, I don't know, they're at home. Like, you got to give a few points to the team at home when you think it's relatively evening.
Yes.
But the more I started looking into this game, the more I started to get concerned about what I was going to be able to do against Trayce Jackson-Davis and the Indiana Hoosiers. First of all, Trayce Jackson-Davis is a really good defender. And he's a really good offensive player. And he's a really good leader on that team. And Indiana is a sneakily more than average, pretty darn good defensive team. And I worried about that with Iowa because Keegan Murray's worst game, in fact, one of his only a couple where he hasn't scored 20 points in a game, was against Iowa State. And Iowa State, another really good defensive team. Indiana's not Iowa State defensively, but they're not that far off defensively from Iowa State. So it gives me pause for concern because in that game, Keegan Murray only went for 9 points in that game, and it was like 4 of 16 shooting on the night. It was not a great night for him. So tonight is going to be about if Indiana can switch and stick, which was what Iowa State does so well onto their defenders, onto their offenders, I should say, as their defense. So I think that happens a lot more than not in this game. I really don't have a feel for who I think is going to win it. I think probably Iowa, very, very close. But I'm going under the 150.5 tonight. I think this will be much more defensive battle. I think this is a 70-65 type game. It gets us comfortably under the 150.5 because, I mean, think about it. To get to 150.5, if you just split it, it's 75 apiece just to get to there. I don't think it's quite that high scoring. I give a little more credit to the defenses of these two teams. So give me the under 150.5 tonight.
All right. Here's how I'm looking at it, starting with the backstory. Indiana has faced 2 ranked opponents so far, going 1-1, falling to then number 22 Wisconsin and beating number 13 Ohio State. One of their 3 losses was to Syracuse after not 1, but 2 overtimes. Furthermore, in their 3 losses, they didn't lose by more than 5 points, so they're playing really good teams close, and they're smoking the not-so-good teams. They enter the night coming off back-to-back wins over Ohio State and Minnesota, respectively. The Hawkeyes, meanwhile, have faced 3 ranked schools so far this season, which have contributed to 3 of their 4 losses. The worst loss against, of course, came against Iowa State on the road. 73-53, Arky. Yikes.
Yeah.
Not great. They come into this night looking to bounce back after taking L to Wisconsin last Thursday, and again, we'll try to keep that home streak alive, as we mentioned. As for this all-time series, the advantage goes to Indiana at 106-78. Not only that, but the Hoosiers have taken down the Hawkeyes in their last 3 meetings all last season, even when Iowa was ranked number 4 and number 8. As you mentioned, Trayce Jackson-Davis leads in points and rebounds for the Hoosiers, while on the Hawkeyes side of the ball, Keegan Murray also leads the team in points and rebounds. I think the biggest task for Indiana tonight will be trying to keep those costly turnovers to a minimum, doing more offensive rebounding. However, the Hoosiers defense is ranked number 1 nationally in field goal percentage. Iowa, on the other hand, is super solid on offense, sitting at 3rd in adjusted efficiency and have the lowest turnover rate in the country. They also play exceptionally well at home, which is something Indiana should be worried about, especially since, like you said, they have not won a road game yet. The Hawkeyes are 10-5 against the spread this season and are 7-5 against the spread when playing as the 5.5-point favorite. On the other side, Indiana is 11-4 against the spread on the year and covered in their one and only game when going in as the 5.5-point dogs. Iowa's games this season have gone over this total of 150.5 in 10 games so far, while Indiana has seen it in only 2. In fact, Indiana hasn't reached this total since their game on November 30th, while Iowa, on the other hand, has seen it in their last 5 straight. So who really knows there? All in all, I feel like these two teams are pretty evenly matched based on what we've seen so far. I think this could be a coin flip Arky. That is hard to say. So just in case, I'm going to be taking the Hoosiers at plus 5.5, hoping it's close. Going to stay away from the total. But yeah, this line even jumped from 4 to 5.5 this morning, which, does that make me feel better or worse? I don't know. That's still TBD, but I'm going to ride with Indiana in this one.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick. I just think it's interesting that I went back and watched on YouTube, which, by the way, you should subscribe to OutKick Bets on YouTube right now, too.
Yes.
I went back and
Good
watched
plug.
some of that Iowa State game that you're talking about against Iowa, and I think Indiana can do a lot of that and make things frustrating for Keegan Murray. So I don't expect him to have a 4th straight game of 27-plus points.